Welcome to Country and Stables YouTube channel. I'm Lucy, Country and Stables bit and bridle fitter, and this is Luna, and today we're going to be speaking about parts of the bridle. So now we're going to speak about headpieces. We've got 4 here to show you. All have different features. The first one we're going to start with is just the traditional headpiece. So this one, as you know, goes over the horse's head like this. This one has got a throat latch attached to it. 2 of the other ones do, but we'll get onto that in a little while. As you can see, this is just your basic hunter headpiece. There's no anatomical features, no padding, which isn't always necessarily a bad thing. Yeah, this is just your basic headpiece, traditional. Everyone's seen one of these before. Moving on, we've now got this lovely anatomical headpiece. You can see that it's cut away. It's a slightly different shape to the other one. This gives really good clearance behind the ears for the horse. It avoids sort of all the pressure points behind the ears and just makes it fit slightly better, as you can see from the side. This has got 3 straps on it. Obviously, you've got your noseband, your cheek pieces, and you've also got an extra strap on this one to attach a throat latch either side. The padding on this is a really good level. You don't really want to go for too much padding, although a lot of people believe that a lot of padding is a good thing. It's actually not. It will add a lot of pole pressure, a lot of pressure around the TMJ, which is the joint where the horse's jaw hinges. It's not a good place to have any pressure. It does cause things like headaches. There's a lot of nerves and things in that area. So this is, your standard, as I say, anatomical headpiece. It's a good one to go for. So these next ones are the monocrown headpieces, a little bit like this first one. But these have, as you can see from the side, the throat latch is attached. It does come with the bridle. It does up both sides. This comes away a little bit more. This gives even more clearance away from the TMJ. Again, this one is padded all the way through. It has got a higher amount of padding on it. But again, it's not excessive. It is still anatomical, but is cut slightly different, so it wouldn't give as much clearance behind the ears as this one would. But move on to this one. So again, this is by the same brand. It has the same cutaway throat latch on it, but this also has a gap in the padding. This is again to just really have a little bit more pole relief. The padding is a little bit bigger on this one, but again, because you have that gap, you're still getting the pole relief there with still a little bit more padding on it. Your headpiece really depends on what sort of bridle you're using. So your headpiece is the bit you'd start with. You then decide which cheek pieces you're going to attach, noseband, things like that. But these are always a good place to start when you're selecting a bridle. Back to this one very quickly. The thing with this one is it doesn't have any separate noseband straps. So this isn't a monocrown headpiece. And what you would get with this is one of the traditional nosebands that goes over the top. It has another strap. Again, they are traditional. They are more or less being phased out a little bit at the moment, because we're sort of gaining the knowledge that the over the head strap, the extra strap, is possibly not such a good thing for the horse, for the pole pressure, for the TMJ. And they can be, with the shape, they are quite often pulled into the back of the ears, which isn't something that we're looking for. We're going to move on to the next part of the bridle now. It's going to be nosebands. Now, there are multiple different nosebands out there, multiple different designs, but we are just going to focus on the 3, not most basic, but possibly most popular and most useful. So first of all, we're going to start off with the good old grackle. This one is actually really good because it does have a removable little fur pad, so it's washable, which is great. So this would sit on the front of the nose. I think most people have seen a grackle. They are designed and marketed to stop horses crossing their jaw. Realistically, if your setup's correct, in an ideal world, we wouldn't need one of these, but they can very much be useful. So it does have essentially what is a flash strap and a back strap on it. This one would attach to one of your mono crown headpieces. It hasn't got a piece that goes over the top. It's got the 2 buckles on the side. So we'll bring back our headpiece for this. So it does just attach. We're not going to do the keepers up or anything, but we'll just show you how it goes on. There we go. So it does attach like that. So you have your headpiece and your grapple at the front. The next one we're going to move on to is the flash. Again, most people will have seen one of these. These is more or less what the majority of people use, just for standard everyday riding. You've got your Cavesson noseband with your flash attachment. The flash attachment does come out. The flash is there to essentially keep the horse's mouth shut. Again, if your setup's correct and in an ideal world, we wouldn't want to use a flash, but you know, it's not an ideal world all the time. So sometimes we need to use a flash. This does have a little bit of padding on it, which is, again, not a bad thing. It's quite stiff at the moment, but obviously it will soften up. The positioning of the noseband is very important when you're fitting a bridle, and that's something that we'll cover later on. This one doesn't go with a mono crown headpiece, so this would be the noseband that you would use with one of these that we saw earlier. So as we said, it goes over the top like this and has the added strap over the top. Again, we're not really looking for this. This is more of a traditional setup, and it will add more bulk and more pressure around the pole and the TMJ. So, as I keep saying, in a very ideal world, this is what you want. It's not flashy. It's not going to do lots of different things. It is your standard Cavesson noseband, sometimes called a hunter noseband. It attaches to your mono crown headpiece with the 2 buckles at the side, which means that you're not going to be adding any more pressure over the top of the head, behind the ears, anything like that. It could do with a little bit of padding, but you know, padding on nosebands quite often is more of an aesthetic thing, and can add more pressure around the sensitive areas in your horse's face. So it isn't something that you necessarily need. And if you are going to go for a noseband that is padded, I would always suggest that you go for one with minimal padding on it. And yeah, it just attaches. It's just standard noseband. And this is what we like. Lastly, we're going to be looking at brow bands. Again, brow bands, you get lots and lots of different variations. A lot of it is personal preference, but we're going to go into some of the better options. This is just a standard straight brow band. There's no padding on it. There's no buckles. There's no shape. It's just a standard straight brow band. This is absolutely fine. It's not going to cause any issues. There's no extra padding around the TMJ area. It's, as long as it fits and it's not too small, you're not going to have any issues. With a brow band, you do need to make sure they're the right size. Otherwise, they can affect the fit of a very good bridle. But yeah, this is just your standard straight brow band. Another straight one here. It is a little bit bent, so it does look a little bit anatomical, but it isn't. It is a straight bar. This has got a little bit of padding in it. You wouldn't really want any more padding than this. It's a good level of padding. The padding also stops here near the loops that go around the headpiece. Again, this is to make sure that there's not a lot of pressure around the TMJ. It's, yeah, another very good brow band. The best brow band is this lovely anatomical brow band. It's got just the right amount of padding on it. It has a good anatomical shape, so it will sit nicely on the head and not interfere with any important areas. There's not a lot of padding around the TMJ area. this is the brow band that I would recommend for most people. Again, it needs to be well fitting though. The next part of the bridle that we're going to cover are the cheek pieces. Quite a few people probably maybe wouldn't think about changing your cheek pieces or different types of cheek pieces. Obviously they do come in different lengths. Most of the time when you buy a bridle, they do come with the cheek pieces attached already. I would say if you do go down the route of buying a full bridle, possibly purchase the size down cheek pieces separately if you can. Most brands do sell cheek pieces separately that will fit their full bridles. We will get onto that later in our fitting video, but just as a bit of a heads up, quite often as a fitter I do find that the cheek pieces that come with full bridles are often too long. We've got a lovely bit here to help us with this. As if by magic, we now have a bit here that has a couple of cheek pieces attached. So the first one is the billet cheek piece that we were talking about. As you can see, the hook just goes through the leather and the keepers go on. The billets always face the inside. The other one that we're going to move on to talk about is the buckle cheek piece. So there isn't a major difference in these in terms of benefits for your horse, safety, anything like that. A lot of it is personal preference, and also manufacturers. Some will sell billet cheek pieces, some will sell buckles. As I say, these are more of a traditional style. These are sort of the updated version of this traditional style. The third cheek piece that we're going to talk about is the clip cheek piece. These are a relatively new design. Not a lot of manufacturers are doing these at the moment, but they are starting to come through. They are very, very easy for me to use as a fitter, because if I have to change 2, 3, 4 bits, it stops me struggling with billets and buckles because the bit simply clips in. Just like that. The only difference, again, really, it is all personal preference. We just have to be very careful. We wouldn't recommend travelling in these. Or leaving your horse tied up with your bridle on. These are very, very stiff, but over time they may loosen, and a horse rubbing its head on a hay net, you know, any sort of mesh, if they get anything in here, it's a bit of an accident waiting to happen, and your bridle will break, which is not what we're looking for. Thank you for watching our video on bridle parts. We hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. As always, please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please comment below.